Oh my god, what have I done? This video is sponsored by Squarespace. You're here and I'm queer and welcome back to my channel. Yes, I am in true despair. If you've seen my recent stories, then you know that my newest custom Snow White doll, you know, the one from like 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, she's not doing well, and so am I. Long story short, I was on a live stream and I was showing her off oh so proudly when I noticed something odd. Something weird, suspicious even. Her hairline looks darker, and if you haven't seen the video of her creation, I pretty much dyed the doll's original blonde hair into jet black for that classic Snow White look. And now it seems that the dye I used is actually bleeding down her forehead and it is staining it the house down boots. It's not super drastic or anything, but very noticeable, especially in the span of only like 2 weeks upon finishing her. I took lots of new photos of her to compare with the original photos, and unfortunately, the dye has definitely bled and stained the doll's face. This was so heartbreaking since it was such a new doll custom. I'm not new to dolls having stained bodies, and I'm somewhat pretty nonchalant about it since it is inevitable, but I do become more conscious when it comes to their faces. And the fact that it's literally like a fresh new doll custom. Like, hello? I know that if I don't make haste now, the stain will be much worse, so I need to act fast and try to revive Miss Snow White. Before we start, I want to say a huge thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. If you've ever thought about building a website, whether it's for your art, your shop, or just a personal project, Squarespace makes it super simple. I used it to build a gallery for my artworks, and honestly, it was a breeze. Their templates are clean, professional, and actually easy to use. It showcases my work super well. You can also sell directly through your website, whether it's products or services. The options are endless. It's super smooth for your customers and easy for you to manage. Squarespace also makes it easy to get noticed online with the built-in SEO tools. From auto-generated sitemaps to custom meta descriptions, everything is set up to help your website show up in search results and bring the right people your way. You can even send invoices, handle payments, and manage contracts all from your dashboard. It really helps keep everything organized so you can focus on creating and connecting. So if you want to try it out, head over to squarespace.com/Hextian for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use code Hextian to get 10% off of your first purchase of a website or domain. And again, thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back into it. I posted some of the journey online and I was really going through it, trying to save and prevent her stain from getting worse. And as you can see, the dye is definitely traveling down her forehead, and that is definitely inevitable sometimes with dolls and dyeing it and staining and everything. That's why a lot of the vintage dolls, when they have actual earrings, like the metal earrings, it will give them the green ear effect, which, you know, it's just their entire ear area will turn green. So that was definitely a concern of mine that I wanted to prevent. I started by shampooing her and cleaning her hair again, which I initially didn't do too much because it would wash out the black dye. But then obviously it probably had so much like excess dye, specifically in her roots, so that probably made the dye travel down her face. I then started experimenting with trying to lighten up and lift the stain out of her vinyl head by using the acne cream method for doll stains. And you're supposed to put them outside in the sunlight, but this was at nighttime, so I tried it with my UV resin cure station, and it kind of worked, but not super well. So I was like, okay, let's go try something else. And I read that you can also use hydrogen peroxide to lift up stains. So I tried that with this one, but in the end, none of it really truly worked. The UV resin cure station worked a little, but not enough for a drastic change. I do think it needs to be out in the sun for the maximum effect. This is what we're currently going for, and it did lift a little bit. You know, now her roots are in a copper color. The back of her head actually got dyed on as well because of the acne cream. It probably traveled down her head, which then traveled down her hair, which then stained the back of her head. It's just all a mess, and now obviously, as you can see, her hair roots are lifted into kind of like a copper red color. I mean, overall, the actual stain in her hairline did lift. As you can see, it is, I mean, it's not like black as the one behind her right here. Like, it's not like green black, it's more on the red kind of stain now, which is better, I guess, but it's still literally like red. She has like a red line. I'm gonna try again using sun this time, and so I just cleaned up her hair all in a bun to make sure there's no strays, and we are going to do the same exact method with the acne cream. We're gonna put her out in the sun all day. Of course, I'm trying not to get the acne cream on the face up that I made because it may literally erase it. But you do want to cover the entire thing with saran wrap to keep the moisture in so the acne cream doesn't dry too fast. Now let's put her out in the sun and wait for 1 whole day, maybe like 9 hours. Lots of hours later. Oh my god, the moment of truth, and we're about to find out if the power of the sun truly reigns supreme. We are finally ready to unveil her and see if it truly worked. And I mean, it kind of did, I guess. Again, unfortunately, the hairline is still pretty red. It's like almost pink this time. So I think if I do multiple sessions of the sun and acne cream method, it will definitely lighten up. But of course, with those multiple sessions, her roots are definitely going to bleach and lighten up as well, which was definitely not what I was going for. A few things I've noticed is that her forehead area, because obviously the acne cream was on it, it did kind of erase the Mr. Super Clear kind of barrier that I put in there. Like the multiple layers of Mr. Super Clear is kind of faded away. The back of her head definitely needs more help in terms of trying to lift it. It's still pretty dark, it's still pretty blue, but I think it can work with multiple sessions. Again, it's going to affect her roots though, which is not really ideal. So at this moment, I'm definitely disheartened, I'm confused, I don't know what to do really, because the more I continue to try and repair her, her roots are also going to bleach out and lighten, which is definitely the opposite of what we're trying to do for Snow White. I received lots of amazing suggestions on how to save Miss Snow White, and I want to say a huge thank you to all of you guys. However, some of them were not realistic or safe to execute because she has a custom face up. She's going to have multiple layers of Mr. Super Clear, which is the barrier, the tooth-like effect that we spray on the doll's faces to give them the paper-like texture, to prime them, to seal them, and all that jazz. And sometimes when you are maneuvering and squishing the head, those barriers could actually crack. That has definitely happened to me before, and so now I've been trying to just paint the face when the head is on the body. Some of you actually suggested that I reroot the perimeter, the hairline area, which would actually really work. It's a really great suggestion. However, again, because this is a custom face filled with layers of Mr. Super Clear, all of this squishing will literally crack the doll's face. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible because I have seen other amazing doll artists that do it. For me, I'd rather not take that risk. Surprisingly though, this specific doll is taking in the squeezing and squishing a lot well. Maybe I've gotten better and I have lessened my Mr. Super Clear layers. The only ones I have noticed, at least from my normal distance of holding the doll, is that her nose area definitely is cracking, and also the inside of her eye over here is also cracking. I mean, those are so minuscule when you're looking at a doll, but I know that I will notice it and that it will bother me. So we are retiring this doll's head for now until further notice. I will continuously try and repair it, and hopefully we can get this original Snow White back in order. Let's work on her stained neck for now and try and remove it. I'm hoping we can save this one at least. I do want to try and lift this one up because, again, even though it's in the back, I'm gonna be bothered by it, knowing that it's there. And there's a lot of things that I am very relaxed with in terms of doll customizing, especially doll staining, because a lot of costumes actually do stain the doll's body. I mean, most of my customs, if they have like black or dark clothing, most likely they will stain the doll's body, and I just have to live with that. I think I'm just more affected because this doll is super new. It's literally like maybe 2 weeks ago that I finished this doll. It's a little bit too fast for me, and it made me really concerned. And I know that I have to take action now, try and prevent it and repair it. I'm doing the same thing, and we're gonna leave this body for about a day in the sunlight. And when we come back, hopefully we have something going on. All right, the moment of truth. Come on, come on, come on. Let's go ahead and unwrap this and hope for the best. Okay, oh my God. I cannot believe it worked so well on her body, and it only took 1 day out in the sun. Like, hello, I should have been doing this. I have a bunch of silk stones that actually is stained, so I think I need to put them out in the sun. But I'm actually really shook. This is my first time lifting a doll stain using actual sun, because I've tried it before, but I've been just kind of like lazy putting it out in the sun. But look at this, you guys. This is the same exact doll, and it seems like all of the doll stain was lifted out. I'm like really surprised it worked because, I mean, now at least I'm able to use this body again. Let's go back to her head, and I just decided to give her a new face-up and try to recreate the face I gave the original Snow White. On my stories, I asked if I should redo Snow White using, well, if I should redo Snow White and make a video, and also if I should redo Snow White in the same Marilyn Monroe / Barbie head, or this other Barbie doll, which I think may be a Mackie face. I'm not entirely sure. These are the only ones I had in my disposal. I'm trying not to buy dolls for projects anymore, as I have so many dolls in my stash. But specifically, these two are kind of the only ones that matches the skin tone of the Barbie body. So it was definitely very limited in terms of my choices. But most of you voted for the same exact Marilyn Monroe / Barbie, which I do think is just a superstar face. But I've had this doll for quite some time, and honestly, I just wanted to steal her outfit, which now I can because I'm going to be stealing her face. It's kind of crazy because I think this doll was made in the 90s, and her stuff, her rubber bands, is already like disintegrating. Like, they are melting. And surprisingly, I'm shocked that she doesn't have green ears, considering these seems to be real metal earrings. Like, oh my god, though, this dress, the quality of this dress is kind of insane. With the snaps, all of these different folds. I'm not sure how much this was in the 90s. I don't think it was more than maybe 30 bucks. Maybe it's less than that for sure, but it's kind of crazy. Now let's go ahead and prep her up so we can dye her hair again into this beautiful dark color. Okay, I'm just kidding. I'll actually be rebooting her this time to make sure, and I'm actually already dreading it. I mean, honestly, I did consider doing this in the beginning, in the very first Snow White doll. However, I was like, oh, when I saw that hack for those Labubu customizations, I was like, maybe I can do that for the doll. It got me excited, and I was like, oh my god, this could be a time-saving, more budget-friendly way of customizing a blonde-haired doll. Since for the most part, there's a lot of them produced. So I was like, this could be a good way to kind of like unlock the possibilities of having different hair colors. I think generally the hack can still work because I've done my Dorothy doll. I turned her blonde hair into red hair. Maybe not as drastic as blonde to black hair. And I think to this day, she still looks really good. Although, I mean, she's not like super old of a custom project, but still. I think my personal gripe with me and rebooting is that I kind of get carried away and I make their reroots way too thick. And sometimes when the hair plugs are way too thick and close together, it can actually slice the entire head open. So that's the only thing. Oh my god, you guys, I am so happy with this reroot. I did get carried away a little bit because it's very thick. But now we can move on to curling her hair. Curler? I hardly know her. I think I'll get into rerooting more if the hair fibers are a little bit more accessible, like to buy. Like if I can go to a store and get the hair fibers, oh my god, I would eat that up. But because you have to order it online, you have to wait for it, that definitely dissuades me. I would definitely prefer buying yarn, making a wig, or dyeing the hair that the doll already has, you know? But there's definitely something super satisfying with actual doll hair on a doll, like especially if the style calls for it. Oh my god, like if the doll needs to have really long hair, then we gotta reroot. We gotta do something and reroot. I think that's my favorite thing with doll customizing, and I love it so much because you are able to really explore all of these different looks with so many different techniques, so many different materials. Your muse, your canvas, it can all be different dolls. You can combine the dolls, you can make hybrid dolls, you can even make your own doll. Like, it's just so fun, and I truly love it. Now let's go back into her visage and try to give her another Snow White fantasy. I'm not super confident I'll be able to recreate the same exact face, so let's just call this a variation, a multiverse of the original one. Now let's go back to the face, remove the factory paint with acetone or nail polish remover if it has acetone in it. Of course, I've sprayed her face with Mr. Super Clear to prime it, and now let's go ahead and sketch out her features. For the most part, I am trying to capture the original face-up that I did for the first Snow White, but of course, to add variation, I'm making her look to the side. You know, we're trying to be quirky, we're trying to be demure, all of that. Again, initially, I wanted her overall face to look very just sweet, very innocent, very gentle. I wanted her to have kind of like the Bambi eyes, so it's a little bit more droopy, very big. and just very bright. Overall, her face up will be very, very high contrast. I think that adds to the Snow White effect because she has dark features. Having a contrasting colors really adds to the vibe, I think. I gotta be honest, even though this is looking somewhat very similar, I'm still very, very kind of disheartened that the first Snow White doll that I made kind of is unusable now because of the whole staining. I mean, technically, it's usable, it's just for me. I'd rather not risk it by having her roots bleed out onto her face over time. But I'm definitely determined in trying to save it and revive that doll, so I will keep you guys updated. And voila, we are done with our second Snow White face-up. I am so happy with how she came out. Definitely a bit different from the original Snow White, but I do think the essence of her gentleness, kindness, and brightness is still very present. I was bored, so I decided to actually gloss up the original Snow White face to kind of show you guys why I don't gloss my eyes anymore, because it just gives off such an intense glare, and you truly lose the details in the eyes, especially when you're trying to photograph them or take a video of them. So I'd prefer not to gloss up the eyes, although they look super amazing in real life. I have to agree. Now, as a treat for everyone and myself, let's go and make her another face, and that's going to be her sleeping face. This was definitely an impulsive idea, but I was like, you know what? Let's just go for it. You know, let's make this video a little bit more fun and a little bit more rewarding for everyone. I already have this doll on the ready, so might as well use it. Although she has dark hair, it's definitely not jet black. It's very, very brown, so let's have a do-over with the whole latex hair dyeing method. And this time, I'm going to do my best to shampoo her up, clean her up, and we're gonna give it another go. I'm hoping this time around, if I clean everything up, it's gonna be a little bit better. It's not a drastic change from blonde to black. It's literally like dark brown to black. Hopefully that will, that will do its job. And again, I am cleaning this doll very, very excessively, making sure the water runs clear and there's no excess dye. I know, I'm pretty stubborn when it comes to these things, but I want to make it work. I even made the latex layer super thick where you can't even cut and remove it without force. So I'm hoping this will yield better results. The hair is definitely darker now. It's not jet black per se, like the reroot, but it's still very, very dark, and honestly, I'll take it. I am really hoping this time around that she survives and doesn't have any problems. I would literally crash out if it ever happens again, which, it might, but at least this time we're prepared, Now let's finally draw her iconic sleeping face. And same thing, let's go ahead and remove her factory paint using acetone. And honestly, I even put acetone on her hairline to see if anything is going to be removed, and nothing came out. I feel like at that point, her hairline, like the roots, is like her original hair color. So yeah, I definitely think some of the black hair dye fell off because of my excess shampooing, but it's fine. It's very close in terms of color, so it's fine. I feel like I've never really done an actual closed eye doll repaint before. I think the closest one I've done was maybe Briar Beauty from Ever After High, which was like 11 years ago. And at that point, her eyes was kind of sleepy, but not like actually closed. So doing an actual closed eye is definitely refreshing for me, and it was very, very fun. Initially, I was like, maybe I should make the colors of her face maybe less saturated, maybe more pale looking, like lighter makeup. But I was like, I mean, she's not like, wet, like she's just sleeping. So, yeah, like she'll be sleeping full glam. Also, I'm not sure if I have repainted this specific head mold before, but I'm truly obsessed with the features of this head mold. The lips are so beautifully sculpted. The eyes are beautifully sculpted. Like, I'm actually kind of obsessed. And having this face mold with the sleeping Snow White actually makes more sense because her mouth is closed. Like, I don't think she'll be showing her teeth while she's sleeping. So this was like actually perfect. And if you're wondering, yes, I am very scared of changing her head out here and there, from sleeping one to the awake one and so on, per my initial face-up cracking spiel. But I'm going to take the slow route this time around and actually heat up the faces and try to really prevent that from happening. And we are done with our sleeping Snow White head, and I am absolutely obsessed with how she looks. I mean, look at these two. It is definitely day and night, awake and sleeping. And I just love how they look together. I mean, you know, there's the hair variation is definitely kind of crazy looking, but oh my god, look at this pose. I thought this was so cute. It's giving Bet and Dot, honestly, from American Horror Story. But this is our Snow White head collection so far. All of the three, it's just kind of satisfying to see them all together. I am so obsessed looking at all these faces. There's something kind of satisfying with them. I mean, you know, the first Snow White is really trying hard to be blonde again. But now let's go ahead and dress Miss Snow White again. Now, some of you guys requested for this, so may I present to you her glass bed. Her glass bed. I actually got this online. It is real glass, it is real metal, and I thought it was perfect in terms of like the aesthetic for Snow White. And this is actually a wedding card gift box, so you guys can search that up online. I do want to have her kind of raised in there, so I'm going to put this makeshift bed that I have laying around. Well, it's just foam, and I covered it with fabric. And of course, she will need a pillow as well, so that she is comfortable waiting for her prince. And now let's have Snow White rest on her new bed. And now we're done.